I'm turning in one of the short edges on the box in a little close-up for you. We're all glued up, and I'm going to turn it over. Rub this very tight, and then press down. Press the fabric into the corner. Then I'm going to stand this up and rub the floor down. And then take the chisel end and push right into the back corner and rub the floor down flat. Then I take the point of the folder and lift up this corner so that I get the flap up onto the back wall and rub down. And I'll do the same thing over here. Use the point of the folder to lift and then press it down so that I can press right into the corner like that. Then I'll take the chisel end of the folder here and push it into the corner like this to make sure the fabric is very tight against that joint. And then we're ready to turn the other side in. Now I'm going to line the fourth side of the top of the box. This is important because the lining is going to form the hinge that holds the lid on and keeps it in place. So what I'll do is I'll take the box and I'm standing it up like this. Then I'm going to take a piece of fabric and put it inside like this and just crease it so I know where to cut because I want it to fit snugly inside the box here. I'll trim this down. And then test the fit like that. And now I'm going to need a piece that will go onto the floor a little bit, and it should come up on the top about 1 inch. So I'll mark this now with the knife. There's a 1/2 inch for the floor, and then another 1/2 inch for the top of the box. I'll be a little bit generous because you can always, cut some fabric off. Make a little mark here so I can cut the fabric down. Okay, so there I have the piece. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to fold just what I want on the floor. Fold it up like this to give the piece of fabric just a little bit of a pre-crease before I glue it out. So I'll lay this down here. And I'll glue out the fabric. And I don't want to glue, this end here, right here, because that'll go on to the lid. So I'll leave that undone at the moment. So then I'll fit this in, push my little pre-crease right into the floor like that, and like we did before, use the chisel end of the folder to push it, right into the floor and then tight onto the floor of the box. Now this next thing is very important. You want to take your top and fold it over and leave it like this so that it glues very securely to the top of the box, the top edge of the box. I'll rub this down, and we're going to let this dry. Because in order to form the hinge, I don't want to be lifting it back up when I start to fold it. So while this is drying, we'll cover the top of the box. Now this is the top of the box here, and it fits just exactly on top. I've made it just a little bit long in the front, so it has about 1 millimeter to like lift up, for lifting up. So I'm going to just measure that for a second to make sure it fits, well. Okay, now we'll get a piece of fabric and we'll cut that up, cover that. Now I'm going to cover the top. So I have a piece of the covering material here, and I'm going to put this on so I have an edge to turn over, and I'm going to mark the other side here. And what I want is to have on the tail end of this, I want to have enough space for the edge of the box, like this, and enough to go underneath the box to wrap around the base of the box. So I'm going to cut this like here. So this fabric looks pretty good. I'm going to go give it a trim. Right back. And then I will glue out the board. And put it in position on the covering material, like this. Turn this over, rub it down, make sure there's no air in there. And I'm just going to crease it on this back side, a little bit like that. So now I'll cut the corners and turn the edges. Gluing first the outside edge here, the little bit down there, and here. And then fold this over. And folding it down there, bringing the end in just a little bit. So I'm going to turn press this in here so that the fold makes the edge of the fabric not go straight line, from this part. So it curves in a little bit. That way it'll keep it off of the actual back of the book. The box. Rub the edge down like that, and then crease it in here like this so that it pulls the fabric in just a little bit, so that it's not actually square with the edge. Then we'll fold these edges in up here and glue the front edge of the box. I should have given this probably a little more of a turnover, and then it would stick down more easily. There's not enough fabric here to hold it down, so I have to hold it and rub it down until the glue actually comes into its tack. Okay, now what I want to do is I'm going to fold this very hard against the back like that, and I'm going to glue this part down too. And that way that's going to be nice and secure. And I'll just pull this over to hold it for a moment. Now we're going to take the box And since we had glued it down and it's dried now, I'm going to bring this back and fold it so that the back of this fabric comes even with the back of the box. This is our hinge. And I'm going to fold this so that it's absolutely flat like this and tight on the back. Then I'll test this lid onto the box like that. And I see that it has the nice little lip here that I had planned for. And we're ready to put this in position. So what I'm going to do, I'll take one I'm just going to do it like this. We'll be all right with that. Okay. So now I'm going to glue this flap and I'll take the lid and put this in position on the box, bring it even to the back, and press down, and then bring this flap down like that. I'll open the box, press the flap against the back so that it's in position. Then I can open it a little more once it's in position and rub this down so that it's all joined up here. And we have a nice hinge for the top. Now while that is drying, I'm going to take the fabric here and I will glue this out. Need a little paper here. And I will glue the spine. And then fold the back side of the box up. And I can bring this down. And the box is covered. I'm going to take my little triangle here and cut this corner off so that it's all mitered. And do the same thing here. And we'll let the glue dry. So there we have our flip top box. Now I may want to open this up, and just to make sure that everything stays down, I'm going to open the box and press the joint like this, so that we have a nice crease in the fabric here. And I'll let this dry. Now, in order to make these stacking boxes, we need to cut bases for these that will fit inside the lip snugly of the box below it. So we have a bottom box, we have one here, and I have one here. So I'll need two pieces to fit on the bases. I'll get a piece of cardboard, the binder's board, and then I'm going to measure this by putting this inside the box like that, And I'm going to mark the inside edge. I'll give this a cut. And then I'm going to measure this and make sure that it fits inside the box. And you see how it fits snugly inside the box, like that. This is the thing that will hold the boxes all in alignment when they are stacked up. You may want to cut this slightly smaller if you're having if you have a thick, covering material. This covering material is pretty thin, so I can cut it pretty close. Now I'll do the same thing over here, setting the box setting this cardboard inside the box, and then using my knife, I will mark the board like that so that I can cut a piece that will fit inside.